Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Samoan Bulldozer. Check out Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, Rob. We are 30 seconds into the podcast, and I can already tell you there are not enough graphics on the screen. We don't have graphics of words randomly popping up when I say things. Why isn't that happening?
Wow, this is interesting because this is where I wanted to start too. So there's one real takeaway from SmackDown yesterday.
Oh, yeah, they've changed some things.
And Jer, I think this change is so monumental that like we're going to start calling this the, I guess maybe social media era, you know, where it's like the Attitude Era, the Rock and Wrestling era, the Ruthless Aggression era, the Invasion era. I think we're now entering the social media era.
Yeah, I can't even call it the Facebook era because it's also Instagram they use a lot and Twitter they use a whole lot. It's the social media era. It almost felt like a comic book era to me because they were just throwing. The first time I noticed it was when Shinsuke Nakamura is getting into the ring and the word Rockstar comes across. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm, I did.
And then
I didn't really think much of it at that moment, though, because I just thought it was maybe kind of a cool thing they're doing with his entrance.
Yeah, I decided, you know, when the Vaudevillains came out, everything went black and white. I'm okay with them. Or like monkeying around with stuff.
When the NWO would come out, they made it the black and white with like the old Cinema Time effects.
But then they go backstage and Daniel Bryan says a couple things and some of the words he says pops up around him.
Yeah.
And then the whole Uso penitentiary thing.
Right. Yeah. So
lock them down, boom, and then they slam the cage, which we'll get to that. By the way, I thought the cage part was a little weird, but that was an incredible promo. But we can get to that later.
Man, how far they've come. I'm so proud of these guys.
That was a killer promo. That was really good.
I just never thought they'd get here with all the time that they had been given to grow. I just kind of thought they had reached the top of their potential, like we had seen what they were capable of, but I'm glad I was wrong.
Well, they've been given characters I think that they both believe in instead of the cartoon Samoans that they were handed when they got there.
Yeah, no, but when you're right, and they did a good job. And I really have to be honest with you. I'm back and forth on how I feel about these graphics and effects.
I don't hate it, but I feel like
go ahead.
I feel like I'll become tired of it. They're getting dangerously close after one night of overusing it.
That was the thing. So this experience that I think will be happening moving forward on both Raw and SmackDown, and I mean 205 Live and Mixed Match. I mean, I just think this is where they're going. This is the new Pyro, so to speak. And yeah. So okay. Here's the thing. Let's take the Uso Penitentiary promo last night, which was having this effect of the prison bars slamming over top of their promo.
Yeah, they name a tag team, Breezango, lock them down, and then bonk.
I didn't hate it, but from the part of me that hates when kayfabe is broken, I feel like that takes something away from the promo, especially when it's live like that. When Daniel Bryan's talking and the words pop up, well, I think it's kind of douchey is the best way I can maybe say it for those backstage promos. It's, you know, those are pre-recorded. It's not screwing with kayfabe. I feel like in real life, if a fighter is going to go out and talk smack on his opponent, it's not going to have pre-recorded graphics going over it or whatever. But I mean,
right. I hope when they use it like with Daniel Bryan talking about the top 10 thing and using those words, because that doesn't have to be live in my mind. But if I get a stare down with Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman and words start popping up on the screen, it's going to take me right out of the fight.
Yeah, right. So it's got to be done properly. And so I don't exactly know how to do it. I think I know why they're doing it. I feel like when these things, that obviously social media and viral presence is a big deal And I'm sure everyone's noticed in their newsfeed and stuff, a lot of videos, they have closed captioning or words that appear because a lot of times people scroll through and see these things on mute, on their phone or whatever. And I think that's kind of why they're doing it.
That makes so much sense. For me, it's, professional wrestling, for people that don't like professional wrestling, it gets bagged on as a profession all the time. But I also don't think the WWE gets enough credit as a company and as a corporation that refuses to remain stagnant. Now, some people will argue that they're stale in their writing and blah, blah, blah. But they're always trying new things. The WWE restaurant, the WWE network, they're not afraid to fail. Well, throw some ice cream bars out there. Let's market this. Can we make money off of that? Let's try this. Hey, let's get rid of pyro and let's start putting words on the screen. Let's see if that works.
Words are free.
I give them credit for trying,
Yeah, well, you made a very good point in that despite being run by a guy who's oftentimes been described as like an 80-year-old codger, no matter what era you're looking at, they've always had their thumb on the pulse. There's other examples I can think of, but, I'm curious because I think this is the approach they're going to take with the XFL. I think they're looking for this social media viral nature. I think you're going to see words on the screen in the XFL. And the best way I can sum it up was actually something that Tony put on a post show that I kind of gravitated to. He kind of flippantly used the term flaming taints when talking about how you're watching the mixed match challenge and you see all these thumbs up and hearts and angry faces scrolling by. And one of them was like, as a joke, he said flaming taints. And that's exactly how I feel. I don't like the flaming taints. That to me is different than Rockstar going across the screen during Nakamura's entrance. There's some things I like about social media and there's some things I don't like. I don't care how many thumbs up a certain move in a certain match gets. I don't care. But I do like some of the positives that this could bring about. There's potential there if they use it properly.
Did it enhance your enjoyment of the show in any way?
Because it was the first time and there was no ramping into it. The only exception being that, they've been doing these handheld selfie promos for a few weeks now. But with these graphics, there was no ramping up. We just jumped right into the pool with these graphics. Right in. So I was always distracted by it. And I feel like as a longtime fan, I'm going to continue to be distracted by this. But that doesn't mean it's a bad move and I don't like it. Right. I don't know if it enhanced my enjoyment of the show, but I will say that is a SmackDown, the first one in months that I've really enjoyed. I still give the nod to Raw, but I thought it was a really good SmackDown. They got a lot done. I agree with everything you just said. They did so much. Moving Bobby Roode and Rusev, I really like the idea of that going on. They had a place for everybody last night. And also, so while I'm not a fan of them actually holding their phones or the camera, I will say that like we're getting things that we wouldn't have gotten a few months ago. Like for example, a really quick promo of Bobby Roode with the calendar with Rusev Day circled and he writes out glorious. Like, I feel that's something we wouldn't have cut back to before, but because we're doing these quick video promos, and that's the thing, social media, it's quick. It's your news feed. You're scrolling. You don't have a lot of attention. 20 seconds. They want our videos on our radio stations to be 90 seconds and less because they think people's attention spans don't go more than that. Well, good luck. Good for them because they're getting a 30-minute video from us. Right, exactly, which is a battle I had to fight for a long time back with the Eric Cornish days. People, and I'm not even saying that the company's wrong with that mentality. And to be honest with you, when I click on a video that's, is being presented to me as a funny video, if it's got 2 minutes or more, I don't know if I would click on it. So I get what they're saying there, but I feel like we wouldn't have gotten, like, for example, I think what Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss are doing is kind of cute, to be honest with you. The whole thing where he was trying to get her to flip the car, I thought that was so cool. And just like how they said the ginger snaps, and how she's just kind of like, she's always positioned to be like on his shoulder, almost like a parrot. it's just like, it's working for me. And I don't know that with the old way of presenting things, we would have gotten stuff like that.
Right. And that's kind of how Rusev got over. All those backstage things is where Rusev Day became a thing. You know, Rusev Day didn't happen in the ring. And it really helped give him a resurgence for his career, which was starting to go not great for him.
Absolutely. So there are pluses and minuses. And like, let me also point
Bob
to
Roode. I love it. He calls him Bob Roode.
Like,
I'll tell you what, Bob Roode.
Like, let me give you some examples of times when things like this have happened, like in the past. And I'll go back like kind of far. Like, for example, there was a time when there wasn't theme music. And then they start slowly integrating theme music. And I bet you at first, I mean, like, I know people like Bruno Sammartino or whatever, like they didn't like the colorful, cartoony stuff that happened, like the theme music and stuff like that. But that went on to be a positive. Or like there was a time when you wouldn't see a video screen at a show. You want your eyes dedicated to the ring. We'd darken the rest of the arena so you could only see the ring. And then it's like you got these big TV screens. And at first, they don't really show a lot of action. They just kind of show the wrestler's name as they're walking to the ring. And now you've got full-blown Titantron videos and entrance videos. And they kind of evolve. And whenever you do stuff like this, I'll just call them growing pains, or, you know, people kind of putting them down or whatever. And that evolves into having a humongous Titantron that shows what's going on in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the ring's not just lit anymore. The crowd is lit, and in different colors. So on Raw, it's red, and on SmackDown, it's blue.
And now the ring has its own Titantron built into the apron.
And the ring post.
Yeah. So it's just like these things kind of evolve. And I feel like this was the next major step in evolving their presentation. Fair?
Absolutely. I don't know if it's the best idea in the world, but it's so far so good. And I thought SmackDown was great. And for the first time in a long time, they decided to tell more than one story, and they did it well, I thought. And not with a lot of time. I mean, they didn't have to hammer us over the head that the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos are going to have an issue here. But like the Usos cut what I think was an A promo, and then they're getting out of the ring, and the Bludgeon Brothers come down. And instead of having another confrontation and 5 more minutes on the mic for the Usos, they just share a look while the Bludgeon Brothers are on their way into the ring to kill dudes.
Two unnamed jobbers who just looked the part.
That guy, amazing. Did you see the guy's singlet said amazing? He had horseshoe hair, so he went bald, but he kept the horseshoe head, and then they just checked their ass.
So I agree with you. As we mentioned before, we like that slow burn way of doing things, and you're right. Just saying that we've beaten everybody, and then having the Bludgeon Brothers walk down to not even say a word. You didn't even need the look. The audience could pick up on the fact that, oh yeah, they never beat them. And then next week, have them say it. And then next week, have a challenge. And then at the pay-per-view, deliver. You know, like that's the way I like my wrestling to progress.
Right. And sometimes you can speed it up, and it works too. When you have Benjamin and Gable go into Fashion Files and flip a table, and then they've got a match. Okay. You know,
I loved seeing that back. I just like that even when it's bad, it's good to me. The Fashion Police and them answering the Twitter questions, and I like that. And
here we go with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They're definitely going the direction you thought they were.
Not only that, I believe we also saw. So not only did you see what I feel is the beginning of Zayn and Owens for Mania, we're seeing the beginning of AJ and Nakamura too, because they're going to start as buddy, mutual respect. We're friends. I'll fight you because I respect you and you deserve it.
Super match. Yeah.
But mark my words, by the time we get to a few weeks from Mania, something's going to happen where they are no longer mutually agreeable like this.
I hope it turns into a real blood feud.
Yeah. Like, so I'm excited for just all of the seeds that SmackDown planted last night, I believe are going to grow into beautiful flowers or trees.
Right. Now we're probably going to get AJ Styles. I actually think we're going to get AJ versus Sami Zayn at the next pay-per-view. which won't be super climactic because you know that Sami Zayn's not taking the championship in against Nakamura at WrestleMania. But they've got to get through a pay-per-view somehow. So.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what to say about the undercard of the next SmackDown show, and I'm going to let it take its shape or whatever. I just know that I feel like there's good things on the horizon, and Owens and Zayn, I think that's like even like for the most part, this Owens angle is kind of copy and paste from what he did with Jericho the year before.
Yeah, and that was copy and paste from what he did with Sami Zayn.
Whatever, it's
in
something.
NXT.
It's working for me personally. You very rarely see Owens fight without a reason, and that's what wrestling's all about. It's making people want to see the fight. It's not even the fight. It's making people want to see a fight so much so that they pay to see it, that they're willing to pay to see it.
No, I feel it.
That's what it is.
Do you have any other thoughts on SmackDown, or do you want to talk about some of the other things going on in the world?
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Well, did you see the big 205 Live announcement? As ridiculous as that was.
So I want to say that I really intended to watch 205 Live last night, but I was exhausted by the time SmackDown was done, and I started a little bit late on SmackDown. I wasn't able to...
205 Live didn't start for 35 minutes because it has to wait for the Mixed Match Challenge to be done. So I did them all. I did SmackDown, Mixed Match Challenge, which I enjoyed. It was, again, another good match, and Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss are fun together. What they did after the match I thought was really interesting, and then it went right into 205 Live.
Okay, so by the way, if you watch on the network, do you get Mixed Match Live?
You don't get it that night. Like, you'll get it today, but I had to watch it on Facebook Watch last night to see it live.
Okay,
because they want to get those Facebook numbers.
Michael Cole did point out on the show, and I did realize this, but it's probably worth mentioning. If you want those flaming taints to go away, you can swipe a direction and they go away.
Okay.
So there's that. I saw the major announcement. I will say my curiosity was piqued after our conversation yesterday regarding who was going to be named as the general manager. Big names being thrown around. Names like Rey Mysterio, names like Chris Jericho, and
Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, and these aren't just names that the Post-to-Post universe was throwing around on the post show. These were names that they were even sharing via tweets on the show, on Raw and SmackDown. So I was like, boy, they're really making this something big. I saw right before I went to bed, I checked the news sites and saw who it was. It was Rockstar Spud.
I don't know who that is. All I know is when I see him standing beside Daniel Bryan, I'm like, who's this kid? He was wearing a green tuxedo. He's 3 feet tall and blonde. I legitimately thought for a second, is that Hornswoggle? Like, I thought it was Hornswoggle.
I bet you people like Mike will know more about Rockstar Spud than you and I. I know a little bit.
TNA guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen him a few times, but I'm not going to lie and say I know a lot about the guy, but I know that he's one of those indie darlings that has garnered a lot of respect on the independent circuit.
They no longer call him Rockstar Spud. He's now Drake Maverick.
Oh, I didn't even know that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, his name is Drake Maverick.
Yeah, I figured they wouldn't go with Rockstar Spud. That makes sense. That's a stupid name anyway, if you want me to be honest.
It's a stupid name. It's a stupid thing. It's a stupid... I turned it off. I went, I'm voting with my money.
That's becoming a thing for us now too, isn't it?
It is. I'm not watching it. I turned it off. But I did watch the Mixed Match Challenge. At the end of it, Rob, they're flirting with the idea of romantic interest between Braun and Alexa. And not just flirting, like he completely broke character. And he was like, I think she's pretty cute. Because they did an interview afterwards, and she was like, I think he's cute too. And we could go all the way. And the whole crowd's like, go all the way, go all the way. And she was like, in the tournament.
I think cute is underselling her.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
I just like the idea of those two doing it because it doesn't feel like it would work.
It'd be like a Saint Bernard having sex with a cat. You know what I mean? Or like when Andre would go to New Japan, or I'm sorry, when Andre would at least go to Japan, Hulk Hogan describes what it was like passing by his room one time when the door was open. He was, I believe it was like someone who worked at the hotel. It was a little Japanese girl that Andre was mounting. It's just like, it didn't make sense.
That poor girl. I hope she gets out alive.
I can't speak to whether or not that happened. Plus, we all like Andre was too big for the Japanese hotel room, so Hogan would outline in his book that he would sometimes literally just lay down newspaper on his bed and take a dump right on it because he couldn't fit in the bathrooms.
I heard that when he could get in the bathrooms, he couldn't fit in the toilet, so he would go in the tubs.
Yeah, he would just poop. Allegedly, he'd just poop in the tubs.
Poor guy. I actually feel bad for Andre the Giant in a lot of ways.
And then Bad News Brown's probably over watching this. Like, why you tell me how bad you feel for Andre. Bad News got pooped on a time or two from Andre unintentionally.
What do you call that? Bad News Brown bad news?
If you don't know the story, real quickly, there's been a few times Andre had done his sit-down splash on several people, one of which was Bad News Brown. That's the funniest of them all. And he allegedly lost control of his bowels unintentionally, from what I understand. And that's the story there.
That needs to be a story time. Why haven't they made that a story time yet? Come on, WWE. What are you doing to us?
Didn't you say Kelly doesn't like Evan watching those as is?
She does. She really doesn't. No.
Oh, Kelly, hold on. This time, Andre the Giant's going to poop all over Bad News Allen. Just wait, Kelly. This one's going to be really funny.
This is good. It's Bad News Brown. It's Brown Bad News. It's the best name for a story ever.
Next week, Sid's going to crap his pants getting a tombstone by The Undertaker.
But that's how Evan learns about the old school wrestlers. That's how he learns about them. When we met Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he said, "You barfed from Andre the Giant." That's what he said to him. He learns from story time.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. And then, I don't know, you want to talk about the Hall of Fame? We never mentioned the Dudley Boyz the other night.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone saw it on the post show yesterday, but Jerry brought up that he was real excited about the Dudley Boyz going in. Mike got the conversation started, and Mike said he doesn't really get excited about the Dudleys anymore. And I think you're both right. Like, I feel like I don't really care about this one, but they are beyond deserving.
I loved the Dudleys when it was like Dudleyville would show up at the ring. I remember being at the Jaffa Mosque and seeing and screaming at Sign Guy Dudley, and you've got the Dudley Boyz and Sign Guy and Spike Dudley, and you've got them all there, and they are the funniest when they're tearing into a town on the mic. They were great. Bubba Ray hit me in the hand with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire because I kept yelling that it was gimmicked, and it was just fun. They were great when they were in ECW. I never really thought that they'd be a WWE tag team or do well there, and then they did.
Vince Russo fell in love with them at first sight, from what I understand.
You know, the Hardys and Edge and Christian get a lot of credit, and I hope that the Dudleys get just as much credit with all those TLC matches and those ladder matches, and you know, because they were. I know now they're just like Devon get the tables. They're like a one-trick pony, but I thought that they were really an influential tag team. They were pretty great.
So that's who the Dudleys are to you. For me, what makes them so special is I feel like, without a doubt, and I think a lot of people just knee-jerk say the late 80s with like the Hart Foundation and the Bulldogs and the Rockers and Demolition and Power and Glory, and it's like all those teams. There was a big heyday in wrestling. Yeah, in the 80s. But for me, without a doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the high point in tag team wrestling was the Attitude Era, featuring teams like the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boyz, Edge and Christian, the Super Heavyweights, the Acolytes, which are also the APA, Midian and Vista. Like, there was so much going on, but the match quality with what I'll call the big three, which are obviously the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian,
Even Too Cool with Rikishi was fun.
Absolutely. The New Age Outlaws. That to me is the high point of tag team wrestling. And you could very fairly say without any of those three big tag teams, that wouldn't be safe to say. But it is, for me, safe to say.
Are any of the other big three tag teams in the Hall of Fame as a tag team?
I don't think so.
I know Edge is in, but
they're
the
not,
Hardy Boys aren't in.
Their Hardys are still active, and Edge is in. And that's
they're never putting Christian in.
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't agree with that. He'll be in.
You think?
He might not be the marquee name one year like Edge was, but Christian's going in. Coco Beware's in.
Touche. But Demolition's not. In
yet. You know what I mean?
I thought this might have been their year too, and I think Chyna's year could be this year.
Chyna's a safe bet, especially now that she's passed.
And they mentioned her twice. 25th anniversary, Triple H mentions her. Then during the Women's Rumble, Stephanie McMahon crowbars her name in, the ninth wonder of the world, Chyna. And I was like, whoa, boy, hearing Stephanie McMahon say that is interesting.
The ninth wonder of the world and the woman who used to make love to my husband, Chyna.
She's dead.
I had something for you if you want.
Please.
Kind of make a little game out of it really quickly. I got a Wrestling Observer here in front of me. I was reading last night. I was like, boy, this is interesting. It's a statistical based award that they give. And I want to say it's called the Ironman Award, but let me make sure. Hold on. I'm a page behind. Give me a second here. Okay. So here we go. All right. It's called the Ironman Award, and it's
is this the current Observer?
This is a few weeks old. I'm about 3 behind. This is from January 8th, I think.
Okay.
Which,
cool.
by the way, I'm still planning on sending you a few to see what you think about it.
Okay.
So what they do is they go through every match a wrestler has, and I mean, as you can see, the list it's oodles long, and that's just one page, and then there's this. So they go through every wrestler, and they look at how many matches he's had. They look at their win-loss percentage for 2017. And then the Iron Man is the person who had the most matches of the year. And I'll level with you and say it's a WWE talent. In fact, I think the top 5 is all WWE.
Do they count house shows, or are we just doing televised matches?
It's both. It's house shows and televised matches.
Okay. So
who do you think might be the Iron Man for 2017, meaning who had the most matches in, and I'll say it's WWE, but it's also worldwide for 2017.
Wow, God, it's got to be someone that's on TV all the time, and then also still travels house shows. So the jobbers on house shows like Heath Slater wouldn't work, or Rhino, because they're not always on TV. And guys like John Cena don't always do house shows. So I'm going to go ahead and say Kevin Owens or AJ Styles, maybe one of those guys.
Kevin Owens not in the top 5.
Wow.
AJ Styles came in at number 3. And I'll tell you this, AJ Styles had 179 matches in 2017. Wow. There are 2 wrestlers that have more. Do you want to take a guess? And if you give up, I'll tell you. But I'll let people think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be along those lines. So maybe Braun Strowman, someone that's in all the pay-per-views, but also
keep in mind,
travel.
Strowman spent a little bit of time on the shelf last year.
Oh, he got hurt. I'm not thinking about injuries.
Owens was hurt a little bit too.
Seth Rollins, he wasn't hurt in 2017.
Not top 5. See, isn't it crazy? It's like this name is going to shock you, I think.
Who is it?
The most matches for 2017 with 185 is Jinder Mahal.
Huh. Wow, well, he was champion. He was champion.
Yeah, but I mean, he's only champion for a little bit of it. In fact, speaking of that, hold that thought. Because check this out. If I go to a different page, I can tell you his win-loss record. So, Mahal. Okay. 185 matches. You want to guess what his win-loss record was?
Just percentage-wise, I bet
Sure.
it's over. I bet he was champion, so I bet it's over 70%.
Over 70%. Okay. His win-loss record, .326. He won 60 matches. He lost 124.
Oh my God! Well, he was a jobber forever.
I know, isn't that just nuts?
And then he wasn't. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out math-wise how Jinder Mahal would have more matches than AJ Styles unless he's wrestling twice in one night.
I mean,
sometimes.
It was only 6 more matches.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of a tie. So
who was number 2?
Baron Corbin.
Give me the top 5. So you've got Jinder, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles,
Sami Zayn, and Charlotte Flair.
Oh boy.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And Kevin Owens isn't even in the top 5.
Okay, so forget win percentage, although I'll just say this. As far as win percentage go, I think another interesting point is only one wrestler of the whole year had a 1,000 batting percentage. Didn't lose a match.
That's Brock Lesnar.
Did I miss that?
Right?
Wait a minute. Well, he lost to Goldberg. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. That was that was the year before, though. Hold on. Lesnar. Oh, you know what? You know what the issue is here? I think these are only for people who had like 30 or more matches or something like that. He didn't.
And he had like 6.
Yeah, that might be what that. Or maybe it's only full-time guys. I don't know, but Brock Lesnar's not on here. But the 1,000 went to Asuka.
Yeah, and Braun Strowman has only been pinned by 2 guys, but his win-loss record might have changed when he was with like the Wyatts or whatever.
So Asuka has a 1,000 batting average, but only had 92 matches. Who in the WWE do you think had the most wins in 2017? Not winning percentage, just the most W's.
Roman Reigns is coming to my mind, but I don't think that's true. Although house shows, he always wins. I'm going to say Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns is top 5. He's number 5. 116. These are all WWE names.
Yeah.
You want to try to get some more out of the top 5? Reigns is Reigns is a really logical guess.
Reigns is a great guess. I'm just thinking like house shows. Who do they put over on the house shows? They put over the good guys. They usually, that's what you'll see. AJ Styles, is he in the top 5?
Yes. He's number 4. You're working your way up. 117. One more than Reigns.
Kevin Owens?
No.
Seth Rollins?
Number 3. You're working your way up. 127 wins.
All right. So far we have Reigns 5, AJ's 4, Rollins is 3. They're all good guys because they all go over on the house shows.
I'll tell you if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm drawing a blank now.
I'm just shocked to see this. The person with the most wins in 2017 with 144 is Dean Ambrose.
I wasn't even thinking Dean. Who's number 2?
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that so shocking? Like, I'm just like, wow, that's neat.
Well, that's cool. Good for him. So what's number 2?
Shinsuke Nakamura put up 131.
Wow. So it is. It's Dean, Shinsuke, Seth, AJ, and Roman. So it's because they like to send the crowd home happy at house shows.
All right, so let me give you a few more. Best winning percentage, I already told you, is Asuka.
It's Asuka. After that, I bet it's Braun.
Number 2 is a little bogus. Number 2 is actually Nikki Bella, .947. After that, you've got Aleister Black, .916. And then Drew McIntyre, .899. So for someone who spent their whole year on the main roster, who do you think had the best winning percentage? Number 5 this year.
Braun Strowman.
No, let me see what Braun would have been. Give me 1 second. Braun Strowman, .554.
What?
You're going to get shocked by this.
We're going to be best winning percentage. I don't know. I don't know.
Nearly .9. It's a .889. The best
woman?
No, it's a guy on the main roster.
Raw or SmackDown? Narrow it.
Raw. You're going to be shocked.
No, I'm not. Finn Balor?
Finn Balor has the best winning percentage of every male on Raw.
That was a wild guess.
Can you believe he's winning 9 out of 10 matches? At least in 2017 he did?
No, because he just did the JOB to Cena.
All right, we'll wrap things up here. I got 2 more categories if you want.
Okay.
I've got most losses and lowest winning percentage if you want.
Most losses. Okay, here we go. Kurt Hawkins.
Nope. Let me check where he's at. That's a great guess.
He doesn't win. His whole gimmick is that he doesn't have a win. He's got to have the worst percentage.
Yeah, he's got a 0 percentage, 120 losses.
Because he doesn't have as many matches, maybe.
Yeah, he's the only .000. But yeah, all these other more losses have more losses than Kurt Hawkins. But they don't have as low a percentage.
I mean, if Jinder Mahal?
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah,
number 4.
Yeah, because you told me he had a ton of losses. He was the champion. Bray Wyatt?
Nope, not Bray. I can look at him if you want to, though. Bray Wyatt, 144 matches. Wow. His winning percentage is less than 0.3, 0.299. Yeah,
I figured it wouldn't be good.
You digging this? You want to try to get most losses?
I'm having fun with it. I am. The jobbers, like the perennial jobbers, like Heath Slater keeps popping into my mind, but I don't think he has enough matches to have the most losses.
Heath Slater had 117 matches, 82 of them are losses, 35 are wins. That's actually, I'm sorry, 82 are wins. His is 0.7. He's got a great winning average.
Wow. You know who it could be? Because he didn't have a great year, but he was used a lot. I'm just going to guess Rusev.
Oh, you're close. Aiden English.
English
is number 5. I haven't told you the top 3 yet, but they're kind of cheap. Aiden English, let me look at his real quick since you bring him up.
Rusev Day.
Here, here's English, and then I'll give you Rusev. Aiden English, he had 142 matches, 19 wins, 123 losses for a .134 winning average. Rusev, on this page, 124 matches, 33 of them wins, 90 of them losses for a winning average of almost 27%.
Can we take a minute to sit in awe of how detailed this is? I mean, to get house show results for every. And he probably does it for not just WWE, he probably does it for New Japan, he probably does it for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he puts one of his guys on it, he says in this.
How in the world? That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work.
Let me give you the top 3. Most losses in 2017. I'll give you number 3. Carmella. Put up 125 losses in 2017.
She almost cashed in last night. We missed that. That was good.
Nia Jax. With 3 more losses, she put up 128 losses in 2017. And then
2017 started with her just killing jobbers too.
And then number 1, I was a bit surprised to see someone who held the title in 2017, Natalya, 131 big L's.
Big old L's for you.
So
wow.
There you go. I thought that'd be a fun way to wrap things up today.
That is fun. Thank you to the Wrestling Observer. Thank you, Dave Meltzer. I won't say FDM today.
You shouldn't say FDM. I know you say it because you hear Bruce say it and you hear Vince Russo say it. I'm telling you, don't say FDM. Why do you not like him?
Well, I get my information because it sounds like he's wrong all the time.
Are you kidding me?
Pritchard says
Are you kidding me?
Pritchard says he's lying. Says
Jerry
he doesn't know what he's
Valeri,
talking about.
You don't believe what you're saying. His winning average is like 90%.
100% FDM.
No, I hate that you spout that. That's not FDM. I can't get behind that.
You love FDM, or you love DM.
Listen, this guy, this is where I don't care what news site you're going to, they're getting it from Meltzer, and they're usually getting it right.
Well, then how do you? But then two guys that you really love and respect and like to listen to, in Bruce Pritchard and Vince Russo, hate his guts.
They hate his guts because they made their job more difficult.
Oh, well,
that's why. And they're trained their whole life. Well, because Bruce Pritchard, for 30 years, was a wrestling insider whose job was to keep those secrets guarded. And these secrets always got out. So yeah, he was public enemy number one. That's why they say it. Gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna send you some of these. You're gonna love them. I know you're gonna love them.
How about FPM?
What's that mean?
Phil Mushnick.
What's your problem with Phil Mushnick?
Yeah, I just hate him too.
You should at least know why you don't like somebody. I feel like.
You know, how long have we known each other? You know that's not how I roll.
For myself, the Rob, my tag team partner in podcasting, FJV. We'll see you on Tuesday. It's 106.1 Kiss FM and 103 GBF.
Thanks, Dave.